So, it's a miserable, cold, rainy day in Plymouth. The boat's going to be pulled out of the water soon to have some anti-fouling done, so I thought I'd take the opportunity. Just gone down to check it, so I thought I'd take the opportunity just to do a quick review of my new Oukitel RT2 rugged tablet. It's a rugged and waterproof tablet, and I'm using it as an additional chart plotter as well as a multifunction device for reading emails, browsing the web, watching TV on and so forth. So if I just pick my camera up and show you the boat. So that's the chart plotter that came with the boat. It's quite old and dated. It's not a touchscreen display, so I have to manually zoom out if I want to see any sort of detail. There you go. It's you can see it's how slow it is to redraw. I zoom in again. If I want to place a point that I'm going to go to somewhere, I have to move around with the cursor. You can see, and then let's try and find somewhere in maybe Cornwall to visit. I've got to now zoom right out and let it redraw. Let's zoom. I was zooming right out now, and it would help if I zoomed into the right direction. So now we're over the sea. Corsan Bay, that'll do. Corsan Bay. Where's my cursor gone? Oh, there's my cursor. So if I want to go to King Sand, I then would have to select that and then select go to, and it will draw a map. It will show speed over ground and the time and the distance to go and so on. I've then also got a fish finder there as well. Currently in the marina, hence all the boats and lack of movement. But it's not touchscreen, it's quite difficult to use. So, say hello to the RT2 tablet. I've got several apps on here for various things, but one of them is a Navionics. So when we have a look at that one, I'm waiting for Navionics to load. If you have a look at that one, you'll see the display compared. It's now downloading the base map. There we go. So now I've got pinch and zoom, so I can zoom right out with my fingers. I can just move along with the fingers to Corsan Bay. I can zoom in to where I want to go, put a point on, and I can route to it from there. Now, one of the things I've got with this, as well as more up-to-date maps, is I've got different base layers as well. So I can go to the map menu, and I can select sonar chart shading, and that'll show me depths, relief shading, sonar imagery. Okay, well, it's not showing anything. I don't know. Okay, relief shading anyway. Satellite map. So we can, when it draws, you can see actual overhead satellite terrain. The sonar ones. The sonar one or no overlay is the one that I tend to use the most, because you can get an idea of depths and what's underneath you from that one. But we'll go back to no overlay. But it's so much more easy to use. But obviously you've not just got that. So if I go back to the main menu, I've got a whole host of other things, he says. Let's have a look what we've got. I thought I'd put these on my home screen. Where did I put them? I thought I'd sorted my home screen out with them all on. But anyway, I've got Amazon Prime. Shout if you see it. Oh, well, there's Amazon Prime Music. Oh, there's Prime Video. So, and I've got Netflix on as well. So it'll connect via 4G with a SIM card or obviously Wi-Fi. So I can watch telly on it. I've got Sky Go on it. I've got Netflix on it somewhere, although I appear to have lost the app. BBC News. Obviously I can read my email and obviously browse the web. But the tablet itself is extremely rugged. Now if I try and have a look around the side, it's got waterproof covers for access to the SIM card or memory tray. On the back there's a handle to carry it. Now I've got it attached to a rail mount, which is just clipped onto the rail there, and that's very sturdy and it doesn't move around while I'm underway. But the tablet itself is waterproof, so if I take this outside, it's chucking it down in rain now, there's no fear of it getting wet, there's no fear of operating it with wet hands. It's an ideal tablet for use in the boating environment, not just as a chart plotter, which as you can see it's quite an easy to use and clear display on it. Much clearer display than that one. I mean, if you compare the brightness of the two, the tablet is actually brighter. They're both turned up full. The tablet's brighter, and the tablet's slightly better to read as well, even in bright sunlight. Part of that will be the age of that. I mean, a brand new 2022 Raymarine £1,000 chart plotter might have a better display, but my old one hasn't. I did think about removing the chart plotter out of the dashboard and fitting the tablet in, but I decided to leave this one in because this is ideal everyday chart plotter when I'm posturing around where I know where I am, because I can just turn it on, I can leave it showing the speed, the time, distance to home. But when I'm going anywhere unfamiliar or new, and I'll give you a good example of that. So it's quite a local example, but if around the River Yelm here, there's a very, very narrow passage and a sandbank which sometimes changes slightly and the buoy gets moved, whereas my the maps in here are 2012, they're not necessarily up to date. So if I'm going into a new harbour, or round into Dartmouth or Salcombe, then I'd use this one for the actual navigation in and out of the harbour, whereas I'd just leave this one on whilst I was underway. And then of course obviously I've got this one to watch Sky on, or BBC iPlayer or Netflix or Amazon Prime, as well as browse the web. And obviously as a web browser it's as good as anything else, and I can put normal maps on, so there you go. It's an ideal tablet, but very rugged. I'm not going to take it out of its holder because I've got it set up nicely. But it's very rugged and there's no problems with getting it wet. Now I also use this tablet for working on cars as well. Actually I will take it out of its cradle if I can remember how to do it. There you go. There we go. Zip that up, take that out. I'll try not to break it as I lift it off its mount. I'll try not to break the mount, I should say, because the tablet's fine. Right, so let's go back to that. So it's got a hand grip. I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time here. So it's got a hand grip, as you can see at the back. So if you're out and about, you can hold it. So I'll put my camera down a second. Right, so if I'm working on cars, I've got various car diagnostics software on here. I've got a Skoda Octavia, so I've got one of the apps is called ODB11. So I can have the tablet in my hand while I'm searching through and doing work on it, and it doesn't matter if I've got oil on my hands because the tablet's completely wiped clean. I'll show you how wiped clean it is and how little I need to worry about it, because now we're outside, it is raining, and yeah, that's all wet. There you go. I'm not going to worry about putting it in water. There you go. Where's Google fired up? So the tablet's now soaking wet. Whilst obviously it's not going to float, so I'm not going to drop it overboard. If I did drop it overboard and it was tethered to something, then it's not going to affect the tablet at all, because that still now works perfectly well, even with wet hands. So I can still use Navionics and there's water all over the screen and it still works perfectly well. So brilliant tablet, excellent purchase, ideal for boating, which is why I got it. Decent camera on the back, 16 megapixels Sony sensor. So again, you can even have the camera app on the screen, and you can have it if I put it back in, if it was back in its tablet, like that. I could have it so it's also acting as a front display as well, like that, or reverse the camera and have it acting as a rear display as I'm driving, so you could have it as like an in-car or an inbuilt dash cam as well. So ideal tablet, brilliant for boating, and I don't know why Oukitel that make it don't advertise it as a boating tablet, because a tablet like this aimed at boaters will cost £700 and upwards, whereas this tablet retails at around the £300 to £320 mark. It's brand new, that's likely to drop over time, and there's a whole host of free boating software as well as quite cheap pay for ones. Navionics is $34.99 for a year versus a couple £100 to update that one. And if I show you some of the free software, I've got vessel trackers so I can see what boats are around Plymouth, and I can click on any of them to find out the information. There they are. So there's a Louisa just now, fishing vessel off the coast of Plymouth. So there you go, I hope that's useful. Excellent tablet, good armour protection, not going to break easily if you bash it on something, and all in all a perfect tablet for boaters, either outside at the helm station of your yacht in the rain, or as I'm using it inside the cabin. Hope that helps.